What if McLaren was about to rewrite Formula One history in Baku? Not next month, not later this season, this very weekend. That's the scale of what's on the line right now. Fox Sports' Michael Lamonato calls McLaren's dominance in 2025 quiet, but absolute. And he's right. It hasn't been flashy, it hasn't been a Red Bull-style steamroll, but the scoreboard tells the truth. McLaren sits on 617 points, more than double Ferrari's total. The Constructors Championship? Practically signed, sealed, and delivered. But here's the twist. If Norris and Piastri outscore their rivals again in Azerbaijan, by margins they've been hitting all year, McLaren won't just take the title, they'll do it with 7 races left, breaking Red Bull's 2023 record for the earliest championship victory in F1 history. Think about that. Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost in 1888 couldn't manage it. Schumacher's Ferrari juggernaut in 2004 didn't get there. Even Verstappen's unbeatable 2023 Red Bull fell 1 race short. Yet McLaren, a team written off just 2 years ago, is on the brink of achieving it. So here's the question, and I want your take in the comments. Is this quiet dominance proof McLaren is even stronger than Red Bull's 2023 machine? Or does the lack of drama make it feel less historic? Here's where the numbers get almost surreal. To clinch the Constructors Championship in Baku, McLaren only needs to outscore Ferrari by 9 points. That's it, 9. And considering they've been averaging a 21-point advantage per weekend, it feels less like a challenge and more like a formality. Mercedes? They need to beat McLaren by 12 points just to keep the math alive. The last time that happened was in Montreal when Norris crashed out. Red Bull? They'd have to outscore McLaren by 33 points, something they haven't even come close to all season. This is why analysts like Autosport are already calling it. The Constructors' Trophy is McLaren's, either in Baku or at worst 1 week later in Singapore. But here's what makes it so fascinating, is how different this domination feels. It hasn't been brutal like Red Bull's 2023 campaign where Verstappen crushed everything. It's been about relentless consistency, the kind of efficiency where even on bad weekends, Norris or Piastri are still banking big points. And that's where the story gets spicy, because hidden beneath McLaren's calm march to glory is something brewing inside the garage. The possibility of a civil war between Norris and Piastri, just like Senna and Prost decades ago. But before we dive into that firestorm, let me ask you this. Is dominance built on consistency more impressive than dominance built on outright speed? If McLaren steals the deal in Baku, we're not just talking about a title, we're talking about rewriting the record books. Red Bull's 2023 campaign was hailed as unrepeatable. Verstappen won 19 races, Perez grabbed 2, and the team took the constructors with 6 rounds left. Everyone thought that was the gold standard. But here's the kicker. McLaren can beat it. They'll claim the championship with 7 races left, the earliest in history. That's not just edging Red Bull, that's obliterating a milestone once thought untouchable. And it doesn't stop there. McLaren's points haul is on pace to reach 925 by season end, smashing Red Bull's record of 860. That would also mean the biggest winning margin ever, projected at more than 500 points over Ferrari. Of course, some will argue that point systems evolve, that modern scoring inflates the numbers. Fair enough, but let's be real, domination is domination. Mercedes in 2015, Ferrari in 2004, even McLaren in 1888, all legendary seasons. But by cold, hard statistics, 2025 could sit above them all. And here's where it gets emotional for McLaren fans. This isn't just a title, it's a statement. After years in the wilderness, after watching Red Bull, Mercedes, and Ferrari steal the headlines, McLaren is proving it can define a generation again. But the real question is, who will be remembered as the face of this dominance? Norris, the fan-favorite Briton, or Piastri, the silent assassin from Melbourne? On paper, this McLaren season looks unstoppable. But dig deeper and you'll find the real drama, not with Ferrari, Mercedes, or Red Bull, but within Woking itself. Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri have delivered 7 1-2 finishes this year, 4 of them just in the last 6 races. That puts them on the edge of matching and maybe beating Mercedes' legendary record of 12 1-2s from 2015. For McLaren, it's a dream. For fans, it's the stuff of fireworks waiting to ignite. Think back to F1 history. Prost versus Senna in '88, Hamilton versus Alonso in '07. Every time a team runs a dominant 1-2, the Evan-Naval civil war eventually erupts. And while Norris and Piastri are all smiles right now, the cracks could come. The stats tell us they're simply too good, too evenly matched for harmony to last forever. What's striking is how balanced the pair are. Norris brings raw pace, often electrifying in qualifying. Piastri? Cold, consistent, a machine who rarely blinks under pressure. The fans already call him the silent assassin for a reason. And here's the kicker. Mercedes' record of 33 podiums in a season is also in McLaren's crosshairs. Norris and Piastri already have 27 combined. Just 7 more and they break it. If both keep scoring at this rate, they'll rewrite another piece of history. So let's throw this to you. Will McLaren stay united through history-making glory? Or are we about to witness the first sparks of an internal battle that could define the next era of Formula One? When people talk about McLaren's golden years, one season always comes up, 1988. Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost, 15 wins out of 16 races, a near-perfect strike rate of 93.8%. That year became legend not just for dominance, but for the explosive rivalry that split the garage in two. Now fast forward to 2025. On raw numbers, this team is threatening to eclipse that benchmark. McLaren already has 617 points after 16 rounds, averaging more per weekend than Senna and Prost ever managed. They've banked 27 podiums compared to 25 at the same stage in '88. And if they win 4 more races before the year is out, they'll surpass that legendary tally of 15 victories. It's not the same kind of domination. 1988 was about 2 titans locked in combat inside the same garage. 2025 is more about efficiency, precision, and 2 drivers who seem perfectly in sync. But here's the irony. That harmony is what makes it feel almost too quiet. No fireworks, no feuds, just relentless scoring. But history doesn't care about noise. It cares about numbers. If Norris and Piastri keep delivering, 2025 could become McLaren's new reference point. A season whispered about decades from now, the way we whisper about '88 today. But that raises a tantalizing question. Is a season truly legendary without internal conflict? Or does the sheer scale of achievement speak for itself? Quiet dominance isn't just a McLaren story, it's also Oscar Piastri's story. The Australian has been building a record-breaking streak that could soon put his name alongside Hamilton and Verstappen in the history books. Right now, he has 44 consecutive race finishes, edging past Verstappen's 43. The last time he failed to see the checkered flag? Austin, back in October 2023, his rookie season. The only driver ahead of him now is Lewis Hamilton, who holds the all-time record at 48. At this pace, he could equal it in Mexico City and break it in Sao Paulo. And it doesn't stop there. He's also chasing Hamilton's benchmark for consecutive scoring weekends. Hamilton set the record at 48, Verstappen sits at 43, and Piastri is right behind on 42. That means by Las Vegas, he could tie the record, and by Qatar, he could own it outright. Think about what that says. In just his 3rd season, Piastri could surpass the most consistent driver in F1 history. He's not the loudest, not the flashiest, but he is relentlessly efficient, the definition of the silent assassin. And here's the twist. Those streaks might decide the title. With 3 sprints still left, every single point matters. If Piastri keeps scoring every weekend, the championship may be out of reach for Norris, Verstappen, and anyone else. So the debate is wide open. Is Piastri's metronomic consistency more valuable than Norris's explosive pace? While McLaren sharpens its place in the history books, the rest of the grid is left picking up scraps. Ferrari, despite flashes of speed, sit a staggering 337 points behind. Mercedes, once the turbo-hybrid powerhouse, trail by 357. And Red Bull, the team that defined the last decade, is nearly 380 points adrift. That's the scale of the shift in Formula One's balance of power. Red Bull's 2023 juggernaut was so placed to set the standard for a generation. Yet, just 2 years later, McLaren has ripped that script apart. Ferrari and Mercedes hope to catch up by 2026, but McLaren has already launched its own modern golden era. And the dominance hasn't been fragile. Outside of Canada, when Norris crashed and Piastri had to salvage points, McLaren has outscored every single rival every weekend.
That's the kind of consistency that breaks not just records, but the morale of entire teams. It raises a brutal question. Is this the moment Ferrari, Mercedes, and Red Bull start fighting for second place by default? Because unless something dramatic changes, Baku could mark not just the crowning of a champion, but the dawn of a new McLaren dynasty. But dynasties never last forever, and we know F1 has a way of tearing down its giants. The question is, who, if anyone, can stop McLaren before this becomes another era of complete domination? So here we are. Baku 2025, a weekend that could crown McLaren champions with 7 races to spare. Records are dangling everywhere. Earliest title in history, biggest margin, most points, podium streaks, even a potential 1-2 finish in the driver standings. And at the heart of it all, 2 young stars, Lando Norris